This next tune I wrote after I read the book Follow the River, which is about the Ohio River partly, and it's a historic novel based on this true story of this woman, Mary Ingalls, who lived in Virginia back in the 1700s. And she was living in this little town of white settlers, and her town got raided by this Shawnee tribe, which is, of course, our local tribe here. But they traveled down and they raided this village, and Mary was taken as a prisoner. And they took her by canoe up the New River to the Kanawha River, to the Ohio River, to their village, which is kind of where modern-day Portsmouth is. And Mary, of course, she always wanted to go home. She didn't like being a prisoner, and she was smart. She paid attention. She knew if she got a chance, she could follow these big rivers all the way back home. Even though this is before GPS, before maps, before white settlers had ventured that far, she had paid attention as she traveled, and she waited and waited, but she was on the north side of the river, and they were keeping a pretty good eye on her. But 6 months after living with this tribe, they went even further downstream to the south side of Cincinnati. They were on the south side of the river. They were over there harvesting salt in the salt beds, and she was doing some slave labor down there, doing some salt harvesting, and she noticed while she was down there that they weren't watching her as closely down there at the salt camp, and she thought, I'm on the south side of the river. If there's ever a time to go, it's now. And she did. Her and one other woman, they just up and walked away one day, and they walked and walked and walked. They followed the Ohio River all the way back to the Kanawha River, all the way to the New River, and they walked all the way home. It was about 700 miles after it was all said and done, and their hair turned gray and their shoes fell apart, but they made it back home. And the story just blew me away. It's just a story of the amazing human will to survive and that deep desire we all have to be home, wherever that home is, to be in this place of comfort and normal. And I think another big thing is that when you're searching for that place of normal and comfort after you've been through a very large challenge, there's always a little bit of doubt of, if you get there, if you make it there, will it feel the same after you've been through so much and you've changed so much? So this is really for anybody who's been through a long journey. It's called Fever.
Woke up with a fever, woke up with a fever in the wilderness. I've been living off roots, living off moss and bark and bitterness. And I'm not the same woman that I once was. I'm not the same. I'm not the same woman that I once was. I'm not the same after all. I cut my skin down to the bone and my hair is turning white. I saw the flame, the flicker of my soul nearly burn out in the dark of the night. And I'm not the same woman that I once was. I'm not the same. I'm not the same woman that I once was. I'm not the same after all. And after all that I've been through, will you still love me? And when you look into my eyes, will you still see me?